In this video, I'm going to reveal to you 10 unconventional preps that you need to know about. Now, when it comes to prepping, if you think like the herd, if you act like the herd, you get the results that everybody else gets. That's why it's important that you be able to think outside the box and you have in your tool belt some unconventional preps so that you are ready for that situation. You're not like the rest of the herd. You are going to be effective in that survival situation. I'm going to reveal those to you in this video coming up. All right, guys, so when it comes to prepping, being able to think like this, like what you see on your screen outside of the box unconventionally is absolutely key so that we're not like the rest of the herd. I'm going to reveal this specific unconventional prepper hack to you later in this video, but that's what this video is. We're going to take a look at 10 unconventional prepping tips you may not know about. This is the ultimate guide that's going to reveal those to you and set you up for success in a survival situation. So let's dig in 1 through 10. Here we go. Number 1. Emergency entertainment kit. When it comes to prepping, an often forgot about prep is the emergency entertainment factor. Don't overlook the power of morale boosting activities. So we're talking card games, mini book collections, but these preps are often overlooked. We think about the essentials, how do we survive, but we have to be able to think beyond that to how do we keep our spirits up, how do we keep on top of things in challenging times. That's number 1. All right, number 2 is a bug out bicycle. Most people, when they think about how to travel and how to get around in a survival situation, they're thinking gas and they're scrambling around, they're competing for that, but you can think outside the box and get a bike that can be your ticket out of Dodge. So it's quiet, it's fuel free, and you can navigate traffic jams with ease. So there's a lot of ways you see in this picture you can trick out a bicycle, be ready for a situation, and be able to slip through where everybody else may be drawing attention. Number 3, urban foraging map. So when it comes to living in an urban center, that's where I live, you've got to be able to think outside the box. So explore your city's green spaces and pinpoint edible plants. You're going to want to do this ahead of time. And so as you begin to create that foraging map, be able to think through, hey, where are some spots that I could go to, that I could be foraging, and maybe doing that a little bit so that you've actually got that in mind for when you need it. Number 4, secret cache locations. That's an interesting picture on the screen. I'm going to show what that is here in just a second. So secret cache locations, you're going to want to stash emergency supplies in unlikely places. And that could be like a hollowed out tree or just a backyard. But remember to keep them secure and accessible. So what you see on the screen, I told you I'd share with you this picture. This is from a famous movie. I bet you've seen it. It's called Shawshank Redemption. And in Shawshank Redemption, there are these two guys. It's a very famous movie. They're trying to escape from prison. And one of the guys, the lead guy, he hides some really important cache and information in this location. This is from the movie. It's a snapshot from the movie on the screen. It's a secret cache location, and it worked perfectly to be able to communicate and get those supplies to his friend when he got out of prison. So secret cache locations, a really key idea. Number 5, DIY power generation. When it comes to living in a survival situation or off-grid, you can convert your kinetic energy. You can convert your everyday activities like walking, like biking, into electricity with a simple DIY setup like this. So grab a bicycle. You can research this on YouTube as a way to simply set up something like this. You can use the bicycle, and then when it comes in the situation, you can actually begin to use this to create a sustainable way to keep your devices charged if the grid should go down. All right, let's go talk about the next one. Number 6, emergency cash belt. If you've done any traveling, you know that you need to be able to think on your feet, be able to look around and see who's around you. And oftentimes people will get an emergency belt, or they'll get one of the storage bags that hangs around their neck. The problem is most of those that are out there that are trying to steal from tourists in this situation, or in your situation, survivalists, they know about those kinds of ways. So you don't want to be like the rest of the herd. This is a way to get outside of that and have an emergency cash belt. And you can sew a hidden pocket. This one just comes custom on Amazon, but you can hide that in a belt and store emergency cash. And so it's a discreet way to make sure that you've got some money on hand and you're ready if ATMs are out of service. Number 7, water filtration straws. You may have heard of these, but this is called a life straw, which you saw there on the previous screen. And these compact gadgets, they can turn contaminated water into drinkable water on the go. And so it's a perfect way to have a handheld option to ensure you know you're going to have hydration, clean water in a given situation. So yes, we need to be storing water, but having a life straw can be a lifesaver and thinking outside the box. Number 8, homemade fire starters. So this is a fun one. You can take lint from your dryer. You can take a toilet paper tube, save these items, and boom, you're starting to think outside the box and create a homemade fire starter. And so everything from cotton balls soaked in petroleum jelly is another way, or like I told you, dryer lint stuffed in toilet paper rolls. They ignite quickly and they burn hot even if you're in a damp condition. So this can help you to think unconventionally outside the box with everyday items, cheap, and allow you to be outside and ahead of that herd. Number 9, emergency language guide. So when it comes to preparing for a survival situation, you never know who you may interact with as you go. And there's only so much you can do to prepare for that. But I found these to be super helpful. Fast Talk French, Fast Talk German, Italian, or Spanish is really helpful here in the US. Especially these emergency language guides have got essential short tips. So pocket size, they've got phrases, and it becomes like a cheat sheet basically, so that you can connect with people in different languages around you, diffuse a situation if you should need to, or just connect with that person right in front of you. Could be a lifesaver in a crazy situation. Finally, let's talk about a DIY security system. This is what I teased you with at the beginning of the video, and if a grid down situation should happen, you're going to want to be able to deal with that, right? So you may not have the ability to use a Wi-Fi camera or some other a doorbell that you've got set up connected to your phone. If you have no electricity, you've got to handle it. And so whether that's buying bells, I mean, old-fashioned way to hear if somebody's entering through a door is to attach some bells to the door, and then boom, you're hearing that. Or this is another way that preppers have found to be really effective. Get some of those old cans, old tin cans or seltzer, and if you're especially off-grid, you can tie these to a rope, and it becomes a low-tech way to alert you to potential intruders while you sleep. Okay, so those are the top 10 ways that you can unconventionally prepare for a survival situation. And what I want to point out to you is not only are these tips helpful, not only should you be thinking through putting these in your tool belt and beginning to gather these together, but they're also pretty key for developing your thinking. When it comes to surviving in a survival situation, it can't just be about the preps that we have. Those are going to run out. And so the reality is, when it comes to being an effective prepper for your family, thinking forward, getting the preps is the first part. But as you begin to gather those, begin to help allow that to change your thinking and change how you think about how to prepare and how to think about the future. These preps, go back and rewatch this video. They're unconventional, and they'll help you begin to think unconventionally, so that when you're in that situation, not only are your preps not like the rest of the herd, but you're not thinking like the rest of the herd. Leave a comment on this video if you've got some other unconventional prep that we should know about. We want to hear about that in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like on this video so that we can get this out to more people.